Hey everybody, Jane here, and I'm going to review Death by Smoothie, which is the most recent installment in the Janie Austen mystery series.
Pictures and patterns put into words that stream across the page, capturing life as soft spoken.
Janie Austen is a struggling writer who has the opportunity to go and help work on a script for a theatrical reimagining of a popular, in their world, television series. And unfortunately, one of the actresses is murdered while all this is going on, and she has to help figure out who done it. Luckily, Janie has amazing sleuth skills and quickly gets on the case. I ended up giving this book a 3 stars. I really do enjoy this series, and this book was fine. It was almost a 4-star, but the mystery knocked it down to a 3-star, which can happen with the series. I got into this series because they're cozy mysteries or mysteries, but I stay for the humor and the characters, and the mysteries are often kind of meh. But in this one in particular, I thought the mystery was worse than usual. So, we're going to go into a whole spoiler review of this book in just a minute. But first, I wanted to let you know or remind you I'm an author. I just put out a new book, Hunter. It is a paranormal contemporary romance about a rock star who is also a songwriter, and he is struggling to write his next song. He meets Kim, who is works at the Humane Society taking care of small animals, and he instantly realizes that she is his muse and that he really may fall in love with her. He tries to spend time with her and, for lack of a better word, seduce her, but she is not really having any of it initially. She's had kind of a rough past and is not eager to fall in love with somebody, especially a rock star. So if you think Hunter might be up your alley, please go to the link below, order yourself a copy, and enjoy. I would love to hear what you think of Hunter. Now, I'm going to get into my spoilery thoughts on Death by Smoothie. All right, so one of the things I love about this series in general is Janie Austen is always fun and over the top, and she always has fun over the top stuff happening in these books. So in this particular book, her cat Prozac, we have a lot of Prozac being Prozac. So she gets out of the house and destroys. I don't think she destroyed a turkey before, so we have a discussion about that, but she's gotten up and put dirty paw prints on a very expensive car. And Janie is trying to figure out how to get Prozac the exercise and stimulation that she needs while keeping her in control. So she gets her a leash, and there's a whole subplot about Prozac and her leash adventures, and I loved it. I always love anything with Prozac. Prozac is the most fun side character, hands down. Well, her parents are pretty zany too. So then there's also a subplot where Janie's best friend wants to go to this bachelor auction. Everybody always wants Janie to date. Janie is divorced. She doesn't really want to date. I mean, she would love to have a man in her life, but she's been married. She knows what that's all about. So, you know, she realizes too that there's just not a lot of guys wanting to date girls, especially girls like her who are heavy set, or I don't know like how big she is. The book kind of makes it seem like she's plus size, but then certain other things make it seem like she's not. But she's at least a chunky girl. She lives in LA. She's at least a chunky girl. So maybe like a size 12 or a size like low plus size, probably not like me. But I appreciate her relationship with food and her, like with the bachelor thing. She's basically like, they're going to feed us. I'll go there. I'll look at the guys. I'll eat the food. It'll be fine. Well, there's a whole subplot of she ends up accidentally ordering one of the bachelors, and funny antics ensue. Although I will say, like, one small criticism I have of this whole series is that not much changes. In a lot of other mystery series, you have, romances ensue and then they might break up or become love triangles, but there's kind of an overarching character development happening. And in this book, I don't feel, or in this series, there's really not. As always, the relationship, it doesn't work. Things go terribly on the dates, and Janie is again single at the end of the book. And I was anticipating that, but I really would like to maybe see her finally get a guy who's not a complete jerk, and maybe settle down and have some personal happiness outside of just her cat. But on the other hand, the fact that there isn't there's not a lot of stuff happening in the books that go from one book to another that are important makes it so that you can kind of read books from anywhere in the series. There are things like she's always getting letters from her parents about their crazy antics, but as long as you know the basics of, like, her dad's arch nemesis is Lydia Pinkett, you don't have to know what happened in the last book. You just have to know that they've got an ongoing feud for things to be funny. So there is connections between the books, but it's not anything that matters in a linear kind of way. And her dad, crazy antics. He wants to beat Pinkett at a talent contest, and so he gets a lizard because he's going to tap dance with a lizard on his head, and he's sure that this lady ends up stealing his lizard, and so of course the mother thinks he's crazy, and he is, and so it's they have to find out what happened to this lizard on the side. But back to Janie, those are the subplots happening, but then there is also this mystery. And she has been hired. Lance, who is her best friend, is dating a guy who's in theater and is part of the production for this zombie reimagining. I guess in this world, there's a zombie sitcom that ended, and these group of, like, diehard fans are trying to make it a stage play. And it is going very poorly. The girl who has been hired as the main actress is atrocious, and everybody hates her. And about midway through the book, she ends up dead. And everybody has a motive to kill her, except for the person that actually killed her. That's not actually true, but that was how I felt about the mystery in this book. So, we're kind of early in the book, or early in the mystery, and there's this, what I think is going to be the throwaway line that tells me who murdered the waitress, or the girl. One of the side actresses mentioned that her sister had died because of a waitress's error. And I was like, ooh, the girl who died, the actress, she was a waitress. I know that was mentioned. I bet she was the waitress that accidentally, or on purpose, or negligently killed this other actor's sister. She is. She's not. The actress isn't the one who killed her. I thought I knew what was happening. We were going through the book. I was proud of myself. It's not the most hidden mystery, but I could live with that. We were doing good. Nope. And then Lance's boyfriend, we find out, knew the victim and had been bullied by her severely in his childhood. And, kill your childhood bully. I could live with that. Yeah. I'd be a little sad for Lance. I don't think we've had that. Lance doesn't necessarily have great taste in men, but he doesn't normally date murderers. So, that would be kind of a cool thing to do here. So I was like, okay, it's the boyfriend. It is not. We have another suspect. This guy was having an affair with the actress, and there are pictures that were taken of them. Yes. That he was being blackmailed with. She was going to tell his wife. And so I thought, okay, I don't love that motive, but I could go with it. That makes sense. She's going to ruin your marriage. she's got these illicit pictures, and you probably had some feelings for her, otherwise you wouldn't have been in those pictures. Nope, not him either. There is the stage manager who, she's in love with the producer, and the actress had been dating the producer. And so, I thought, ooh, jealousy, that's a good one. Okay, I didn't want it to be her because I liked her character. She's cool. Was she the killer? Nope. How about the producer who, he this girl has obviously been cheating on him because she slept with the other guy, and she's a terrible person, and they'd been having some creative differences. Could it have been him? Nope. So I'm going to tell you who it was, or what their motive is, because the character that did it, and I hate this, firstly, is he was not even a big part of the book. He left early on. He had been in, I think if I'm recalling correctly, he'd been in the TV series, and he agreed to do this, but then he decided he wanted out of it. His agent booked him another assignment, and he's like, see ya. And so he's not even really involved in this book, and not somebody I suspected because he really wasn't there that much. He had no reason that I could see to hate this girl. Turns out, she found out that he wears a toupee and was blackmailing him about his toupee. And so he murdered her because of a toupee. Not a sister killer, not a childhood bully, not blackmailing that could ruin your relationship, but a toupee. And I thought that was the dumbest possible motive. Come on. You had all these really good suspects with really good motives, and you literally chose the absolute worst person it could possibly have been. You chose them. You chose them as the murderer. So I was really disappointed with the mystery part of this book. Everything else was stellar. The comedy was stellar as always. I do have that issue that I'd like the books to connect a little more, and, Janie to maybe have some actual character development. But it's fine. But, at least give me, it doesn't have to be a great murder mystery, okay? But I'd like it to at least be meh, not And this wasn't a meh. This was really. The worst person you could possibly pick is who you decided for the killer. And and maybe I missed something, and maybe that's, but I was really disappointed by the killer in this one. I was like, oh no, all these good motive people, and we get toupee guy. So that was kind of my thoughts on Death by Smoothie. I love this series. I will tell you, though, one other thing that I wanted to have a little discussion about. I had recommended this to a friend, and I am a plus-size girl, and she is not. And she had mentioned that there is a lot of thin girl hate in the series, the book that she read in the series, and I'd never noticed that before, but I can kind of see where that might be a thing. Looking back at some of the comments that were made in this book, which I didn't think it was really extreme in this book, but I could definitely see where there is some possibly unhealthy feelings and things about food and body types and things. So I will say, if you are going to read this, of course now you know who the murder mystery is because we've done a spoiler section, just be aware that this does have some unhealthy attitudes towards food and weight. And generally that is used for humor, and I like it, and I appreciate what is being done, but it may not be for everybody, and it could even potentially be harmful to some people. So just keep that in mind if you decide to pick this book up, even though you know who the murderer is and you know that they're dumb. All right, guys, this has been Jane, not Janie, Jane. Tell me if you've read Death by Smoothie, what you thought of it. Did you agree that the murderer was kind of dumb? Or did you like it? Did I just miss the brilliance? Because I understand that can happen sometimes. Do you have any other mystery series that kind of have that comedic vein that I might appreciate plus size characters are definitely something I really love. So a mystery with a plus size protagonist, anything you can recommend that's kind of in that same vein, but maybe a little better on the mystery. Do you also hate when it is the worst motive ever? Or do you like it because it's not obvious? Would you rather have it be somebody who's kind of got a dumb motive versus somebody who's super obvious? Because sometimes you read a murder mystery and it's totally obvious who did it. Just give me your thoughts. If you read Death by Smoothie, what did you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Please also like the video if you did and subscribe so you can get my next video. I'll see you next time, guys. It's Jane. Bye.